What's up everyone? It's your boy GaijinGamer here, back with episode 4 of How to Be a Noob in King's Raid 2021. And today, we'll be going over a guide on account management. First of all, happy anniversary, Raiders, as this is probably one of the best events that we'll ever have. So I hope you guys are able to join in, and without further ado, let's hop into the guide. First up, we'll discuss what to do with random weapons you may have laying around. For example, this Klaus weapon that you obtained through Chapter 1 of the story, as well as maybe other unique weapons or unique trinkets that you're able to summon either from Monthly Orville or perhaps just, random unique weapons that you're able to obtain. As you can see, I have quite a few. So the first step in the process is deciding who's going to be on your team. And once you have that in mind, I would definitely plan for the future on this as well, because you don't want to, decide that you're going to play a character later on and accidentally get rid of the soul weapon, or I'm sorry, of the unique weapon. However, if you're not going to play the character and you're pretty convinced, it's safe to do what we call grind the weapon. And now what this does is it gives us this currency here, in which once we collect 1,000, as you can see, it gives us 250 for grinding one weapon. But once we obtain 1,000 of this currency, we're able to craft a unique weapon, and it will allow us to choose whoever we want in the game besides NPC heroes to then select it for. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly go through my weapon selection here and just grind all of the gear that I'm not trying to use on my account. Alright, as you see, I was able to grind it down to just a few weapons here. And now what I'll do with these weapons to make sure I don't accidentally delete them or grind them up, I'll go ahead and click on one, and there's an option right here to lock it up. That way, just in case you happen to be going through and grinding a lot of gear, oh, look at that, I almost tried to grind that, you're able to lock it up so that won't be an issue. And then there's a lock symbol just so you can verify that something is safe, essentially. So we'll go ahead and lock everything up here, and then we'll move on and do the exact same thing that we did for weapons as we did for unique trinkets or unique treasures. Alrighty, now I was able to finish up all of my unique treasures, and as you can see, I have this middle row of gear here. And these are neither unique weapons, as we see at the top, or unique treasures, as we have down here. These are something called artifacts. Now, artifacts are something that you can obtain from the Tower of Challenge. You'll get currency in order to summon these. In fact, you may have already went ahead and completed Chapter 2 and unlocked the Tower of Challenge, in which you are able to climb up, gain the currency, and then summon these artifacts. Now, I'll kind of do an artifact video later on to show which ones are probably the best to keep, as well as which ones to look out for. So next, we'll kind of hop over and just kind of show you all the currency that I have. So as you can see, I grinded all my weapons right here, and that's what I was able to obtain, 5,000 weapon fragments, and then 4,000 treasure fragments. So now what we'll do with these fragments is go over to the craft tab, and we'll open up a crafting menu. We'll go over to others, we'll select unique weapons, and we'll hit the max button. Now what this will do is craft these tickets to allow us to select any hero that we want the unique weapon of, minus NPC heroes. So go ahead and collect these, and we'll do the same thing for unique treasures. Now the interesting thing about treasures is you can actually select the unique treasures of any character, including NPCs, just so you guys are aware. So now we'll kind of go over here, and as you can see, I have 9 unique weapons available and 6 unique treasures, as well as I went ahead and actually bought a few packs just to show you the upgrade process that we're about to do here shortly. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop into it. And before we hop into the upgrade process or awakening process for gear, what I will say is when you're doing your pickup summons, or if you're just doing summons in general, you will get some of this tier 8 gear. I don't recommend, unless you're full up on gear and have no available inventory left, to delete any of this for now. I'll be doing a guide later on showing you how to best utilize the gear that you obtain, which sets are the best for which characters, as well as just how to upgrade all of this in general, as well as what stats you may be looking for specific roles. So if possible, I recommend holding on to all of this gear that says T8 for now until later on. But anything that's T7 or below, to include legendaries if you're not able to use them. You can go ahead and just go ahead and grind all of that, and it's going to give you this dust material. I'll show you right here. So you can just grind it all. And also, just so you all are aware, they have an option here because eventually you'll get to the point where your entire inventory is full. So you can go ahead and filter and sort. And I will just click the gear down here. We'll do everything except for legendaries. We'll do everything tier 7 and under. So what this is going to do is just going to delete all the gear that's less than tier 7 and ancient or less. So we'll hit OK. And then as you can see, it selected all the gear here that fits those parameters. And then we'll do grind, select all, start to grind. And that just may help you expedite that process, as in the future it takes a long time trying to select everything manually one by one. Another thing I'd like to mention while we're on this same page is go ahead and if you have a character that you're not trying to build quite yet, but you have their unique weapon and you're afraid that, you know, it's taking up too much space in your inventory, or B, you just want to hold on to for later, that goes the same with this gear down here as well. What we can do is go ahead and click on the unique weapon. We'll just do partners right here, and on the far left it's a storage option. Now this will send it to this storage, and where that's at is, as you can see, gear in the top left, and then we'll hit the storage box right here, and we have 40 extra additional inventory slots here. Because later on, like I said, it's fairly easy to fill up your inventory with gear. So you'll definitely want to utilize these later on. Alright, next up I'd like to discuss the growth page and just all the different materials you may encounter on this page. So first up we have the Transcendence material up top, and I'll just show you what this means here just in a second. And then we have the Awakening materials down here in purple, right here, all this row here. And then here's the Transcendence material right here, all of this in the yellow orangish color. Now these balls, these have to deal with soul weapons, as well as these over to the left here are soul stones. Now we'll kind of discuss those in a later guide, but what those do is just empower your unique weapons with great power and allow you to just really, you know, raise the ceiling on the power level of all of your characters if you happen to get a soul weapon for a character that you may be using. So just keep that in mind. So if you see something, a character right here in the bottom left that you're using, and if you happen to have like a selector or something that you choose, or if you just randomly get one, just make sure to hold on to all of these for now until I make a guide about it later. Another thing that you'll see is these stones of infinity right here. Those are also used to transcend your characters. And these training points right here you may periodically get from missions and stuff like that, and that will just allow you to raise the amount of points that you have for perks on various heroes once you transcend them. And I'll kind of show you what I mean later on. But yeah, and then the final thing we have here is just skill books, and these are sort of self-explanatory. However, I will just mention that as you can see that they each have different classes on them, you can only use skill books for the class that's shown on the book. Now sometimes that caught me off guard, as some characters, you know, may seem like they're a knight, although they're a warrior, you know. So just keep an eye out for that and just double verify before you use the books for a certain class prior to, you know, go ahead and using some of your consumables that may go ahead and give you, you know, any type of book that you're looking for. So yeah, but anyway, so we'll kind of jump into the Transcendence and Awakening materials here. As you can see in the Hall of Heroes, we'll go into the Room of Ordeals, and as you can see, we have the fragments that we own here. Same with Transcendence, we have the, you know, the fragments of Transcendence that we own here. And then what we can do, these will help you awaken characters. As you can see, to go from 2 stars to 3 stars on a character, it takes a finite amount of material. This amount of material will raise up every time. What you have to do is just input all of this in here, and then hit the enter dungeon, and then you'll kill the boss that it comes up with. As you can see, it will be a Dark Clouds 3 star, and then it will allow you then to purify it and awaken at that point. Alrighty, and now finally on to the consumables tab of the inventory. We also have runes, which I'll kind of cover later on. I would say for now, if you are able to put attack percentage on your DPS, and then just kind of put maybe mana recovery per second on your healers like this, MP recovery per attack, that tends to be pretty good on your healers as well. So I just, put those two on for now, your main DPS and your healers, and then you can throw just various ones on. Blues tend to be for tanks, and then there's a lifesteal. You probably won't need that as much, but these attack runes are some of the best ones for your main DPS, and sometimes some of your healers as well. But we'll come out with a guide with how to rune everything in the near future here. But yeah, without further ado, we'll just finally move on to the consumables tab. As you can see, there is quite a lot of stuff here. And now what I'll do is just try my best to kind of go over how to utilize everything and what everything is in my inventory. So first up, we have the unique treasure transfer tickets. As you can see in the far right corner here, these are specifically for Shockme. Now, I think I discussed this in a video prior to this one, but Shockme was nerfed in the past, and they actually gave us all of these resources post-nerf to be able to, transfer off all of our stars on our Shockme if we decided we didn't want to keep the hero after the nerf. So that's one thing that, Vespa did for us. And the same thing with the weapon, same thing. You're able to transfer all the stars off your weapon to another unique weapon that you have. It's pretty cool because I can build Shockme, and if he becomes bad later down the line, I'm able to transfer everything off to another character at a later point in time. Same with this soul weapon. If I was to get a soul weapon for Shockme, I could do the same thing. So then we'll kind of move on to, as you can see here, this is Tier 8 Swift Darkness gear tickets. And now what this is it allows me to choose from the Dark Dragon boss right here any piece of gear that may drop from him that is armor. So I will be kind of, like I said, creating a gear that a guide that discusses gear further down the line, but that's what this ticket does. And this one allows me to choose specifically 4 options. So what this will do is if I happen to select, if I want this piece of gear, I can then go on and it's going to let me choose every single line of stats that I want to put on it. So these are very valuable. I would not recommend, wasting these at all, as these do not happen very frequently. So keep that in mind. Please do not waste these tickets. These are very important. Alrighty, and moving on to these, you'll get these from your logging on eventually, as these are given to, or maybe not logging on, but just progressing through the let's see here, the adventure roll up over here. Let's see, the beginner raider jumpy order. It's one of the quest lines there, and you'll get these boxes. And what these are is when you open these, you will get all of the gear listed there. So this is all preset gear. It has preset stats, but this is very good, as the more stars you have on a piece of gear, the more armor or the more melee defense or the more attack or HP the item gives. So these are very fantastic to have, and you should definitely utilize these once you're available to do so. So go ahead and open all of these. And then now moving on to the Vel'Khazar rune ticket. If you happen to have any rune tickets, I would recommend saving them for now until you're able to confidently choose what you may want. But the difference between Vel'Khazar runes and regular runes is regular runes will have, just a flat set of just one stat. Now Vel'Khazar makes it so you can kind of more, create your character exactly how you want, kind of tweak it the way you want. As you can see, these runes have different variations. It has attack percentage and penetration, attack percentage crit rate, attack percentage crit damage, attack percent accuracy, and it's important to note a regular rune gives 20% attack. These runes give slightly more stats than if you were to put on a 20% attack. Essentially this would be like a 22% attack. It just happens to be split between 2 different stats. These are very valuable. Please don't waste these, and if possible, if you're confident with what you want, go ahead, but if not, I definitely recommend holding on to those, as they're extremely valuable. Next up, we have these, these are the skill book ticket all. Now for these, I would also recommend just kind of planning out what you may want to use these on. I would say that some of the best options are your main tank, definitely, and then your main DPS should be your first 2, and then also your healer, your main healer that you'll be using on your team of 4. Just to get them completely skilled up. If you happen to receive some of these, you should be getting some of these from some of the various missions as you progress throughout the game. But like I said, be careful. As I select 1, you can kind of change the number here, how many you may want to choose. Let's do, hold on, 200. As you can see, it changes it right there. I'll hit yes, and I got 200 green books. Now I go over to the green books over here, and I hit use. As you can see, it's got a selector, and that goes for every color book, you know, gray, purple, green, or blue. You can select different types of roles. Just make sure you don't select the wrong role, as I have done that in the past, and it definitely sucks. Alrighty, so moving along. So here are just some hero selector tickets. I still have my Lorraine or Celine ticket. I'm just going to hold on to this until I decide I need one or the other. So I'll just hold on to that. And then of course, the Anniversary of Dreams gave me this tier 5 level 100 hero ticket. For this, I'm not sure who I'm going to select, but I have decided that I will be going with Rebel Klaus for my main DPS. So I will be building a physical team. I'm most likely, I definitely will be using Shockmay. I probably will be using Evan here, but I haven't really decided exactly who I want on my team, so I'm just going to hold on to this for now. And the unfortunate thing is, like, Rebel Klaus can't be obtained until I clear Chapter 9, which is somewhat difficult if you don't have like a solid team otherwise. So that's something to keep note of. If you decide to select a hero that, you know, is in the hero archives later on after you clear Chapter 9, sometimes it's difficult to get there. So keep that in mind for you newer players. So for these are Runebox Ancients. Now, keep in mind, when you open these, you will not have to select any one of these. You will get one of every single one. So as you can see, I'm opening 3 packages here. I will get a single rune 3 times of every single option, which is really nice, especially when you're trying to equip all of your, you know, brand new unique weapons that you got with nice runes. Those are great. Next up, we have unique weapons. As you can see, if you hit the use option on this, you can select any hero in the game minus the NPC heroes for unique weapons specifically. Now, it's important, like I said, if you haven't, maybe you want to check out my team build guide for newer players, if you are a newer player, just to give you some sort of idea as to what sort of team comp that you'll be making. So I'll go ahead and just kind of pass on this for now, and then we'll go into unique treasure tickets, the same thing but for treasures. And there's a lot more options, as there is 4 treasures for every single hero. Now the difference is you can also select NPC heroes for treasures specifically. And I'm thinking it's because there are 4 treasures even for the NPC heroes, so they wanted to give you sort of a break, I would imagine, because that would suck if you have to collect unique NPC weapons and treasures. That would be just awful, as NPC unique weapons are hard to get. So we'll kind of just show you that. And then we'll kind of move down. This is a unique weapon, but it's only for this one you'll get, I believe, in Chapter 5. And this, once you open it, there's only a select amount of heroes that you can choose from. It will only go down to Mitra, so it's keep that in mind. A couple of characters I would maybe recommend using on is Lorraine if you're using a magic team. I would also recommend Jane for a magic team. Let's see, Annette for either a magic or a physical team. Lias, magic or physical team if you're running those, or her as a healer. Let's see here. I would also recommend Klaus for physical tank, Maru for physical amp or support. I would also recommend Lecrac, Gao, Roy for physical DPS carry, Frey as a healer. Those are the ones I recommend for those options. And then now moving on, we also have unique reforged tickets. Or I'm sorry, these are reforged tickets, as well as soul weapon rearrange tickets. Now this applies to soul weapons that I was talking about earlier, and we won't really cover that for now. So we'll kind of go into the reforged tickets here. Now what this allows you to do, as you can see, I have a unique treasure equipped to Gao. So we'll go into this, and every time you use a unique treasure specifically, it's going to assign it 2 random substats. Now what these options do is allow you to change the options for free. Now normally, if we were to hit, you have the ability to cancel or use. If we hit cancel, it normally costs rubies to change these sub-properties. So these are very valuable tickets. And so please don't waste them. As discussed previously, we'll be kind of going over a guide as to what characters may need what stats here in the future. So if possible, I just hold on to these for now and just start collecting them. So we'll just kind of pass on. And just to note, they also do change the properties of other gear as well. So as you can see, I'm able to use it on this piece of gear as well. However, if you're using on a regular piece of legendary gear, you can only reroll one line of stats. So just keep that in mind. As the unique treasures, you can reroll both, but you can't do that for just the regular gear. You can only reroll one line of stats. Furthermore, we have the 5-star weapon gear ticket. So now the difference between a 5-star unique gear ticket or weapon or treasure ticket is you can select weapons or treasures with this ticket. Now, I recommend every single one of you, especially if you're newer or a returning player, to use this on a weapon. The only caveat to that rule is if you are a returning player, you already have 5-star weapons on most of your characters that you're using, and you decide to use it on Fallen Frey's unique trinket that it boosts her shield. Otherwise, I definitely would recommend a weapon for almost every single one of you out there. And I would recommend equipping your main DPS first. Do not equip anything but your main DPS first. So we'll go ahead and select Warrior because I'm going to go Rebel Class. I'm just going to go ahead and just pick up this weapon right here, right now. So I'm going to scroll all the way down and select, come on, he's all the way down here. And as you can see, we have Rebel Klaus here, and I'll be selecting his weapon. And I'll go ahead and just acquire this. Perfect. Awesome. And then down here we have some other materials that I'll just kind of cover later. Stamina potions. That's kind of a, once you ran out of stamina up here, you shouldn't run out too early here, as most of your newer players will have too much stamina you won't know what to do with. And some of these EXP potions down here. So yeah, let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I missed that we may need to cover, at least right now. And I think that kind of covers everything. My next guide will kind of cover awakenings as well as how to farm certain materials in the games. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys gained some sort of knowledge from this video. And until next time, GaijinGamer signing out.